Hey, John.
Hey Eric, how you doing tonight?
Happy episode 400. What a
Episode
landmark.
400. I'm glad you remembered. I feel like the last big round number we had, we were like an episode later when we were like, "Oh yeah, last week was 300 or 350 or something like that."
Well,
I
I
don't
think
know.
it was like 7 years, which would be
Oh,
what?
maybe.
357. Anyways,
Yeah.
episode
Wait, 400.
416 will be 8 years. That's a long time to do anything.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
Uh,
Yeah. I've been we've been doing this since I was 12 years old. Well done.
uh, well,
Yeah.
I have had an adventurous week, I guess I'll say.
Okay. You are on vacation. So,
Yes, shortly after we recorded last week, I hopped in the car and hauled a trailer full of furniture out. My daughter is a senior in college and moved into in her words, cute little house, but it was completely unfurnished. So she asked, Dad, can I have my bedroom furniture? Sure, no problem. And
beds are nice to sleep in. Although, to be
you,
fair, I've
yeah.
probably slept a couple of decades on a mattress on the floor. Because
Oh, yeah.
me.
Yeah. I mean, so we gave her a dresser, a nightstand, her bed, which was pretty much just a mattress and the frame, the bed frame, and a couple other things, and hauled it out, dropped that off. And my wife's family and I'm sure I've talked about it before on the podcast, uh, probably a year ago from now, uh, does a Sun Valley vacation. They've been coming here for 40 plus years. Talk about doing
Wow.
something a lot. They've been coming here in the summer forever. And we've come along, and so we're hanging out with my wife's family this week. But that started on Monday. So over the last weekend, that's actually going to be part of my something fun. We went up to the Tetons
Oh, very cool.
and did some touring around in the national park up there. So that has been my exciting week. I'm kind of glad the endless driving has stopped. I mean, I enjoy driving, but
That's a lot of driving.
2,000 plus miles already is a lot of driving.
I'm trying to picture it's Grand Teton National Park or something like that, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
what's the demotivator poster for that national park? It's like the mountains just look like triangles. I don't know. I don't
Probably
know.
something like that. But and I kick him like I passed by. We stayed in a hotel downtown, and we passed and wandered around downtown Jackson, and the T-shirt that I wanted to get but didn't, and I occasionally kick myself because I'm not really a T-shirt wear kind of person,
I'm
but
trying to remember the last time I saw you in a
I
t-shirt.
don't really wear T-shirts, but it was because it's one of my favorite quotes. That which does not kill you makes you stronger.
Okay.
And then it followed by, except for bears. Bears will kill you. That was kind of like this.
Oh, I got to get that from my brother. Okay.
You
I
know.
should totally get that
So,
from my brother.
and then anyways, it was fun. It was a fun shirt, and I thought this would be funny to wear sometime. But I'm just not a T-shirt wearing kind of person. Anyways, so yeah.
Okay, hold on. I have a funny-ish story for you that involves a
Okay.
t-shirt. So kind of.
Okay.
And I'm the worst person with names. And as you know, I so here's sorry, I should just say this. So my brother, he texts me a picture and he's like, "Look what happened and look who we ran into in a Starbucks up outside Seattle."
Okay.
And my brother has a t-shirt with a Lord of the Rings kind of t-shirt on that says like one dad to rule them all, because
Sure.
he's like, but it's looks like the One Ring and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's him and his wife with a person in the middle of them. And I have to hand the iPad to my wife and say, my brother just texted this to me. Who is this? And she's like, It's Frodo from The Lord of the Rings. So tell me, who was
Oh,
the actor? Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. There you go.
And my wife's like, that's Elijah Wood. And I was like, oh, Frodo. and of course, then my brother's next text comes in that was like, he said he just stopped, said he loved my t-shirt. And, how cool is that? So it's sort of a,
Yeah.
you said t-shirt. I was like, oh yeah, that happened but also I
There's a
am
t-shirt
literally
story.
the worst person with like celebrity names, I think, on the
I don't,
planet.
of the things
But anyway,
to be good at, I don't know that that one is something that most people would rank very high. You
I don't
know?
know. I don't know. I feel bad sometimes where I'm like, oh yeah, that's a person. I know that I've seen them before somewhere. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Well,
But talk about like a lifetime thing. They are huge Lord of the Rings fans,
uh-huh.
like huge Lord of the Rings fans.
Okay.
So anyway,
To
I
be able to
think
meet Frodo,
that's
bucket
pretty
list
cool.
checkbox. That is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So
I'm in the
anyway,
same boat with you, sort of, because my nieces and nephews, I'm the hey, let's go see a movie uncle, and so we've seen The Bad Guys 2, and just a few hours ago we saw the new Fantastic Four movie, and in the middle of it,
the fourth
yes,
Fantastic Four. I don't know
yes,
how many there have
the
been,
new Fantastic Four.
but I
I will tell you,
like the crew of
I like
characters.
the other ones better. Anyways, during the movie or after the movie, it was, who is this character and where else have I seen her? I know I can name all the movies I've seen this other character in, but no clue what her name is.
Not their name.
The Sue Storm character, I'm like, I know this. I have no idea what her name is. So
Yeah.
I am not good with celebrity names either.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting.
All right.
That's exciting.
How about you?
I have 4 cows in my pasture.
So not unexpected, but your follow-up comment in our notes is what I'm waiting for the punchline on.
So that on last week or on the weekend, I think it was Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I went out to mow the grass, and so I'm like tootling along on the mower, and I'm like, oh, there's cow poop right there, cow pie. And I'm like, but the cows should not be out of the pasture. So I literally stopped, took a picture, sent it to my wife, because that's what we do, I guess. And I'm like, uh-oh, the cows, something must be wrong with the cows. I'm investigating. But I'm like, the gates are all closed. Where's the cows? They were way off in the far thing. So I'm like, I actually zoomed in on my photo. I'm like, no, both of mine are in the pasture. What's going on with that? But of course, since I was looking for them,
They were your cows.
and they're friendly. Yeah. I mean, they started coming up like towards me. And sure enough, there were 2 other cows on the outside of the pasture who were like, hey, we are looking for buddies in a herd. So I, whatever. I kind of set up a temporary fence. I moved my cows into a different pasture. I blah, blah, blah. I kind of herded the 2 wandering cows into the pasture, but not with my cows. In 2 different pastures next to each other.
Okay.
And then I'm like, I texted the neighbor to the north, are you missing any cows? Because I've got extras. And anyway, so
Did he ask if they could spend the night?
no, but he was like, no, but that's exciting or something like that. I don't know. But so, I mean, it goes from him to his boss, who he's the guy that leased our front acreage, and
Right.
and who called me and was like, I don't know whose those are, but I know a couple of people around there. I'll try and find out.
Right.
And it turns out, and anyway, whatever. Net. Found out whose they were eventually. It went like through a chain of like 4 people, including our neighbor, our ex-neighbor, who moved like an hour and a half away. Anyway, but he's the guy that had the number of the guy whose cows they wound up being. Anyway, net. The guy comes over, and we try to get the cows away, and they can't. So I still have 4 cows in my pasture. No babies. Okay. 2 of them are not mine. 2 of them are mine.
And
they're going to come tomorrow and try and separate them. And I'm like, I'm working. So just don't hurt my cows, please. And then we'll see how it works. But it's been a bit of a party around here for the last like couple days.
You're gonna have 6 cows then soon? I thought your 2 to 4 was supposed to be soon, wasn't it?
Yes. Hasn't happened yet. But we also don't want them to run our cows around while they're like super massively pregnant. And like calmness is good, and like let's have happy cows. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. So anyway, it's been a bit of an adventure. It was an adventure this weekend.
Okay.
And the whole thing was that one of the neighbors somewhere far away, or not far away, but somewhere in that direction between him and me, was totally shooting a semi-automatic gun or something like that the other night. Like, clearly not animal people. Scared his cows. They broke out of the fence, and went to wandering. So, anyway, at least now I know the name of my 2-3 away neighbor, and have his number when and if this happens in the future. But anyway, it's been an exciting couple days.
Huh. Okay.
But yeah.
Well,
his are a little more wild than mine, which is kind of problematic.
Yeah, especially with the pending.
Yeah.
Pending new cows. They're probably not
exactly. So.
Well,
all right. Anyway, but we'll see.
All right.
It's a party. So, how about topics tonight? What'd you bring?
All right. So I have 2 topics. The first one is kind of follow up. So we've talked about Cloudflare. I think it was a few weeks ago, how they were implementing new block AI bots features, and this is Cloudflare coming out and saying that the AI search engine Perplexity is using stealth bots and other tactics to evade websites' no-crawl directives. So he goes into a little bit of detail, but the fun thing is they have a chart that shows. Okay. So the crawler attempts to collect the stuff off the website and says, I am the Perplexity user agent in their request. If the website says, I don't give you permission to crawl my content, if the website says you can crawl my content, then they'll crawl the content. No worries. If the website says you are not allowed to crawl my content, then it will go and say, am I blocked by WAF rules, Web Application Framework? Firewall, Web Application Firewall rules. If the answer is no, then scrape the content. If the answer is yes, then change my user agent to macOS Chrome. Now, am I still blocked by the Web Application Firewall rules? If I'm not, now scrape the content. If I am, then rotate the IPs and the ASNs and keep trying again.
Interesting.
So what Cloudflare is asserting that Perplexity is doing is they are rotating through a bunch of IP addresses and IP ranges that are not listed under Perplexity as Perplexity's ownership.
Right.
So they're deliberately hiding, and then from different ASMs to evade those website blocks. And Cloudflare is stating that the activity was observed across tens of thousands of domains and millions of requests per day. So,
interesting.
Maybe this is kind of we're going to just start calling people out on it publicly and see if that changes. Of course, this is a Dan Gooden article from Ars Technica.
Oh, of course.
And Perplexity representatives did not respond to an email asking if the allegations are true. So there you go. I think this will be
it's hard to get a person to stop doing something when their job depends on their not stopping doing it. to sort of paraphrase that quote.
Yeah.
I mean, Perplexity is already kind of, moving uphill.
Yeah, and they've already been accused. Reddit accused them last year of similar kind of
Yeah.
not just unwanted but unethical behavior. So we'll see if
Hmm.
more of this kind of outing these AI crawlers is going to change anything. So that was my first article.
Interesting. Hey, this is not exactly related, but I don't know if you saw OpenAI today announced the release, I think, of a 20 billion parameter model, open
I
source,
did see
and
that.
120 billion. The 20 billion will fit on a 16 gig GPU, and the 120 billion will fit on a 64 gig GPU, I think, to run locally or
Mm-hmm.
anyway, very interesting for some use cases. So
It's going to
it's kind
get
of
better and better, more efficient and
right.
more efficient.
You I don't know. My mental model is you think we're on the middle of the hockey stick, but anytime you've got like an exponential growth like that and you look backwards, you're like, wow, we're in a steep part of the curve. But no, it's going to get steeper.
Yeah.
It's going to get even steeper.
Yeah. Okay. My second one is just a quick note. Google Project Zero. We've talked about them a
Oh
number
yeah.
of times in the past. They're finding bugs, disclosing bugs. They have announced a change into how they do their bug reporting. So there's we'll give you 90 days. We'll report the issue to you, the bug to you, if you're the developer of whatever the system is that has the
Hmm.
bug, and we will not tell anybody else about the thing for
Disclose.
the 90 days, right? We'll not
Yeah.
disclose for 90 days. And then if you have a bug fix, we'll give you an additional 30 days to roll the fix out to all the vendors. So
Yeah.
the change that they're putting in is beginning today, and this was end of July. I don't remember the exact date, but they say beginning today, within approximately 1 week of reporting a vulnerability to the vendor, we will publicly share that a vulnerability was discovered. So instead of the world not knowing that somebody has a vulnerability somewhere, they will now report that within a week. And so what they're going to share is the vendor or the open source project that received the report. So, a bug in whatever, what the affected product was, and the date the report was filed, and when the 90-day disclosure deadline expires. So that's what Google Project Zero is going to change to. And the question was, why the change? And Google Project Zero's comment here is the primary goal of this trial is to shrink the upstream patch gap by increasing transparency, providing an early signal that a vulnerability has been reported upstream. We can better inform downstream dependents. So for our small set of issues, they will have an additional source of information to monitor for issues that may affect their users. And so they're hoping, and they call this a trial right now. So they say we hope this trial will encourage the creation of stronger communication channels between upstream vendors and downstream dependents relating to security, leading to faster patches and improved patch adoption for end users.
Yeah.
And then obviously the next question, well, isn't this going to help the attackers? And their stance currently is no. We anticipate that in the initial phase of this trial, there may be increased public attention on unfixed bugs, but we want to be clear. No technical details, proof of concept code, or information that we believe would materially assist discovery will be released until the deadline. This is just simply hey, we found a bug in open source project X,
Right.
and if you're dependent on that, here's just notification that we found one that's pretty, I don't know, what the three bullet things they said they're going to do, who the project is, what the product is, and when the report was filed to that entity, and that starts the 90-day clock. So be interesting to see what happens
I
with
think
that.
that will wind up kind of rallying public support or encouragement for when's the fix going to be available? When's the fix going to be available? As opposed to having that be only available, 90 days later. So,
and it's going to be a lot harder for downstream folks to ignore fixing things because now it's all, anyways, I think it'll be, we'll see. Anyways, those are my 2 topics for
that's cool.
My shortened vacation week.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. So I also brought 2 topics tonight, but they're both kind of sort of related to your first, around AI at least. So the first is a paper by Microsoft analyzing some data from Bing Copilot on what jobs people want to have done and what jobs are successfully completed by AI assistants. And I actually didn't copy and paste any of the text of the article. This is it's not framed. It's a scientific style publication on archive.org. But the images I brought out, which again, imagery is a great medium for a podcast, but just like the top couple and maybe bottom couple on a couple of these. So the first is, what do people most want to try and do, and what do they least want to try and do in this? So getting information, communicating with people outside the organization, performing for or working directly with the public, and assisting or caring for others. And I guess the 5th is documenting and recording information. Those are sort of the 5 biggest tasks. So, or most common tasks, I should say. I don't know, the least common tasks in here are, I'm not sure these are super relevant, but, staffing organizational units, resolving conflict and negotiating with others, et cetera, et cetera. So, so that's interesting. The second thing is what they call it, an intermediate work activity. And they were trying to measure whether or not the bot was successful based on the thumbs up and thumbs down. And so, the next chart that I pulled out is kind of, they call it the positive or feedback positive fraction. So thumbs up versus thumbs down, I guess, for what they termed an intermediate work activity, which is, some task that's attempting to be done. And so the things that got the most positive feedback were researching healthcare issues, interpreting language, cultural or religious information for others, purchasing goods or services, and providing support or encouragement to others. So that's interesting.
Using AI to purchase goods or services. Really?
I don't quite know what that is, but maybe can you find me a thing that does X and then being able to push purchase
research,
or something?
Not necessarily.
I gotta say, I don't use Bing Copilot, so
okay.
I'm not entirely sure what they allow on that, but the least positive feedback, which I think is interesting, from the bottom up, creating visual designs or displays.
Okay.
That's interesting that wouldn't get the most visual, because I've certainly used it for image generation and stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
Creating decorative objects or parts of objects. Again, kind of visual art type stuff, at least in my head. Analyzing scientific or applied data using mathematical principles, so it doesn't get the math right, I guess.
Kind of need the math to be right.
Hopefully the people who are thumbs upping and thumbs downing are doing the math themselves to compare. I don't know. Again, I didn't pull out any of the text here. So I thought that was interesting. All right. The last 2 are actually why I chose this article, which are occupations with the highest AI applicability score and occupations with the lowest.
So occupations that are most likely to be replaced by AI? Is that how I interpret that?
That's how I interpreted it.
Okay.
Yes. So
And
should you
application
be
is not.
a should you be a you might be worried. And I don't know. I'm I don't, okay, tongue in cheek, but a little bit. You remember I don't know, a couple decades ago. They're probably still around. But they had these demotivators posters.
Yeah.
I got a couple of calendars from those in the years over the years, and there was always like one. There were lots of them, but one of them was, if a pretty picture and a witty saying is all it takes to motivate you, you must have an easy job. The kind robots will be doing soon. Like that's one of the ones I remember, at least. I mean, I don't know. There were lots of them. If you haven't ever heard of demotivators, you should go. Like, I'm sure they're still on the internet. I haven't Googled them for years, but anyway. But yes, so top 5 things are, like these are things where AI has high completion rate and high scores. And then conversely, the low ones. So I'm going to start with the low ones because the low ones are maybe perhaps no surprise. So the lowest on the chart, so it has the top 40 and the bottom 40. Mm-hmm. The lowest on the chart is a dredge operator. So like if your job is operating a dredge, you are safe for a while, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of funny. The bottom ones were all like water type stuff. Dredge operators, bridge and lock tenders, water treatment plant and system operations, foundry, mold and core makers, and rail track laying and maintenance equipment operations. So basically,
a lot of these
needs persons.
Yeah, a lot of these are definitely like roofers, paving, surfacing, tamping, logging equipment operator. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
My niece will be happy that phlebotomist is on the list.
How about embalmers?
Yeah. It's hard to do with an AI.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm sorry. So there's a whole bunch of service stuff.
Yeah.
Cement masons. Prosthodontists. I try to picture the day when you could just like open your mouth and have like a machine clean your teeth. No, I don't think so. Anyway. Okay, so those are the low ones.
Right.
As you would expect, lots of service industries, lots of jobs that actually require like humans doing stuff. Top ones, like what are the top, and I'll just read the top few of these. Interpreters and translators.
That one makes total sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Historians.
Okay.
Like the problem, like so your face, I'm looking at your face. Your face is about like hallucination for history is probably a bad thing. But AI is very good at ingesting and summarization.
Yeah.
Passenger attendants. Interesting.
What is a passenger attendant?
I'm assuming that's like an airline attendant, but also for other modes of transport.
Huh. Okay.
Sales representatives, writers and authors.
That's the one that's. I totally get it, but I don't.
Yeah, but yeah.
Huh.
Customer service representatives. Because like there's a lot of AI bots in CS customer service these days.
You've been talking to bots. You've been talking to AI bots effectively for 20 years in the customer service.
Or longer. Press 1 for
press 1 for this.
Just getting smarter and smarter. But yeah. So, ticket agents, travel clerks, broadcast announcers, and radio DJs. Anyway, so. Those are some of the top jobs.
Okay.
Most likely to be impacted by AI per this Microsoft article. So that's the first topic.
Okay.
Related, very related. I don't know if you saw this article. I think I just saw it today. I might have seen it yesterday.
You did drop a note somewhere that I did see this. I did read this.
Yeah, I shared this broader than just our little podcast group, but this is ChatGPT. Evidently, and I don't remember where this was. I'm pretty sure I would never have done this, but had an option that you could share a chat. And if you did a little bit of Google dorking, those chats were indexed.
Mm-hmm.
So this company did some research, realized this was the case, and then in a super ironic twist, I don't know that they did this to collect their initial thing, but they did it to show what you could do. They actually asked a different chatbot, Claude, to generate Google dorking queries for specific things, such as business or corporate intelligence would be like the site of, chatgpt.com/share, which is where these had been shared at before. And then, a bunch of parameters, my company plus strategy or revenue or acquisition or our competitor or confidential or NDA or blah, blah, blah. So a bunch of things that would basically potentially surface chats between a user using ChatGPT and what the conversation was if the person had shared the chat.
Right.
And they found I think they said they analyzed 512 of these different conversations. And here's the quote, uncovering a trove of self-incrimination and leaked confidential data. The shared chats include apparent insider trading schemes, detailed corporate financials, fraud admissions, and evidence of regulatory violations, all preserved as permanently searchable public records. Among the discoveries is a conversation where a CEO revealed to ChatGPT confidential financial data about an upcoming settlement, non-public revenue projections, specific forecasts showing revenue doubling, merger intelligence, and NDA protected partnerships, information about various Asian customers.
Oof.
Almost worse than that. I don't know. We're very close in time. This won't be maybe remembered for very long, but for where at that concert last week or two, there was like a CEO that was caught on the kiss cam or video, like dancing
the
with
astronomer,
his
Coldplay.
With the HR lead. Like this is, I'm just. Be good. Be good. Anything you do was going to go public at some point in today's day and age.
That's what I've always told my kids. Anything you're doing online, just assume anyone else can see it.
So this is almost worse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to paraphrase a little bit because there's some swearing in here, but there's a legal example where that said one conversation started with a frantic message about a colleague's sudden accident, leaving them to handle an urgent court appearance. So the quote was, "Hi, I'm having a really crappy day. My colleague was hit by a bus and is on the way to the hospital. I have to take over his project and defend my client in front of the court in 1 hour. You need please to help me, and I will be forever thankful and rewardful. Please take the role of a litigation expert." And then it said the person was so unprepared they didn't know which party they were actually representing, initially requesting help from one side instead of the other, and then asked for closing arguments to be transformed into it says elaborate verse and religious prose, but I'm just like, I'm just like somebody had, somebody's had terrible days at.
Just the conversation. What did they think they were actually talking to? That would be like talking to a friend. Are you really think ChatGPT is your friend?
I don't know.
I will be forever thankful and rewardful.
I don't know.
I
don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There was examples for medical professionals. Someone about how to role play, giving news to patients.
Yeah.
How to anyway, like, net on this is that, well, so first, the net is that ChatGPT took these down, but there's still lots of stuff that can be indexed in archive.org, or that was indexed in archive.org. But it says, of the 512 conversations analyzed with the target keywords, 20% contained material that should never have been made public, including, and they use the following criteria: sensitive nature of the content disclosed, potential legal, professional, or security implications, evidence of criminal activity, confidential data, or personal information, content that could trigger investigations or legal action, or the risk they pose to the users themselves or others. So I read this and I was just like, whoa, whoa. I did not realize that these chats were public or could be made public.
Me neither. I am on vacation with family members, and one is a lawyer and one works in the aerospace industry, and they both told me, because we've talked about AI, like the lawyer has told me he has gone through hours and hours of AI training, what you can and can't do. Even the aerospace contractor nephew is, yeah, we had to take AI training on what we can and can't do. And I'm like, what's the result? He said, pretty much it's just don't do anything. Don't use it for anything.
It's really helpful though, in some cases. So, but yeah.
Anyways, it's the Wild West a little bit right now still.
Yeah. Hey, did I ever tell you I figured out how to get Gemini to the family? It works. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's good. So last, let's tie this one up here. There's two questions that this author said that they got after this got publicized, and it clearly got picked up by press, and that's why OpenAI took it down, took the sharing down. But how much is real and how much is made up? And the response was, I compared some of the assumed private info to public sources and verified what I could. The patterns are consistent. Financial figures match known ranges. Terminology is industry accurate, and the legal medical details check out. While I can't verify every claim, the volume and specificity suggest most are real. And then the actual $20,000 question: why would people do this? The response here, and I guess I'll read this. I've learned never to assume others think like I do. My best guess is they might think share creates a private link like Google Docs,
right? Yeah.
Not a public web page, or some want to save conversations for reference. They think. So maybe. I mean, who knows?
Sure.
It's hard to know what's in somebody else's head, or I continually have to remind myself that, like, your and my understanding of how the internet works, which I think is very deep and very broad, is not common and not normal.
Yeah.
Period.
On that note,
I tried, we were driving in the car the other day. Sorry, this is another little story. And I don't know. I think my wife asked me a question, and I was like, oh, I could totally tell you. And so I started like talking down to like TCP IP and UDP and I told a UDP joke, and she was like, John, we stopped caring 5 minutes ago. And I'm like, you guys are just, you're so like, anyway, that's okay. It's okay.
I resemble that story. I'm quite sure.
I can. Don't you want to know how things work? I can help you. I can help you, but it's okay. Anyway, most people don't care. Most people don't care.
We are not most concerns? People.
Anyway, yes.
All right.
Okay. How about something fun?
All right. So my something fun is a hike. So we went to Jackson, Wyoming, the Tetons, Grand Teton National Park, and there was a lake, which was recommended to me by your boss, who had done this
Okay.
and suggested, hey, you should check this out. And it was fantastic. There is a lake, Jenny Lake,
Okay.
and it's in the
It's
park,
beautiful.
and it is gorgeous. And you can hike around the lake, and it's about a 7 mile hike if you want to go all the way around the lake, I think. But we were not that ambitious because you can hike a little over 2 miles to a boat dock. And they have a shuttle service that goes from one side of the lake to the other side of the lake, because most people will pick up the boat at the where the visitor center is and kind of that part, take the boat across, and then hike up the mountain. But you can also hike
Okay.
around the lake. So we did a fantastic hike around the lake. There was the little over 2 mile route, or the 4-ish mile route. And we did the 2 mile route and then took the boat back, and it was fantastic. So get out, enjoy nature. That's kind of my something fun, is getting out, enjoy nature. We did not see any wildlife. The people, when you get to the boat dock, there's a bunch of people. It's the middle of summer. It was crowded. And they were showing pictures of, we saw this moose off in the distance. There were another group that saw a bear, and I'm glad I didn't see either of those up close, but it was nice to see them off in the distance. But
Yeah.
anyways, so that's
Oh,
my
it's
something
gorgeous.
fun.
I want to go there.
Jenny Lake hike. It is very pretty. So
I want to go there. That looks lovely.
it was a fantastic. We drove all over Grand Teton National Park, and it was a lot of fun. So there you
Okay.
go.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay. My something fun has nothing to do with well, I guess this has to do with the outdoors. So I don't think I knew tomatoes and potatoes were related.
I will tell you up front, I guarantee you I did not know that.
Well, they are, evidently.
I just know that you have told the tomato potato instead of potato potato joke.
Yes, that's what
And now it makes more sense.
Oh, well, I will have to tell this to my son. I'm not sure I think he just likes they rhyme. But
He was on to a truth he was unaware he knew.
exactly, the deeper truth is coming out. So this is an article. It's a National Geographic article, so I'll put the National Geographic link here. But I read it on Apple News. But it says scientists finally know where potatoes come from, and the answer is very weird. So that's the title. It says new research traces the genetic ancestry of the popular root vegetable to a brief plant romance millions of years ago. Which is crazy, because they're not actually. So what do? They did genetic analysis of. So there's, like many things, it starts with two scientists. One scientist who's studying the plant genus Solanum, which is the genus responsible for tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers. And it says it's one of the flowering plant genera that has more than 1,000 species. And then the other, let's see. So I'm trying to figure out who's Knapp and who's Wang. Knapp is interested in finding the relationships between plants in the genus, so she teamed up with Wang, who's interested in potatoes. We're interested in Solanum, Knapp says. We realized there was something interesting here. So using full genome sequences, Knapp and her colleagues constructed a family tree with 6 potato species and compared it with 21 other Solanum species. They also compared another 128 genomes to figure out how closely potato species aligned with other species. It says potatoes are related both to the tomato group and to another group of plants called Etuberosum. It's a tiny little lineage, only 3 species, she said. But, so if the ancient tomato species and Etuberosum couldn't produce tasty tubers, why could Petoda, that's the genus or this became, The scientists found that the new group inherited a mix of genes from the two ancient plant groups that produced a strong spud. For example, the tomato donated SP6A, a gene that turns on tuberization. That's the technical term.
Okay.
And tuberosum brought IT1 to the table, which controls tuber growth. And here's the cool thing. It came just at the right time. The tomato group prefers hot and dry conditions, while tuberosum likes it cold and wet. But around 10 million years ago, the Andes mountain range began to rise up on the western coast of South America, and the heights offered conditions that were cold but dry. Petotas, energy-storing tubers, allowed these new plants to expand into the new environments high in the Andes, and that's like the new a new environment kind of let this crossbreed have an environment that it was able to thrive in that neither of its parents were. So I didn't actually realize that potatoes were from the Andes.
Neither did
I associate them with South America in some ways, but at some point I got to go down to the Andes and up the
potatoes
on the high
are global,
desert.
though.
This was millions of years ago. So yes, they
a swallow carried the potatoes around their necks,
something like that
across the globe. Okay.
They don't go into the dissemination of the potato, but there was a little bit of talk in here about the fact that I don't think I realized either. I mean, potatoes don't grow from seeds. Evidently, period. I didn't realize that they can't grow from seeds. It's certainly implied in the article.
Potatoes grow from you chop the potato up in pieces, and then it has those little eyes that come out. And that's your new potato.
But those are clones. And the problem with clones, again, implied in the article, I didn't pull out these notes or anything like that, is that allows deleterious mutations to accrue in the family. Because you're literally, you are the same plant.
Yeah.
And so one of the things they were saying that the scientists want to try and do is they're trying to use the genetic editing to create a potato that can grow from seed so they can try and breed out some of the bad mutations of potatoes. Which, I mean, I know, I think I'm a few things about potatoes that they might be talking about. Like, I know if you like green potatoes can be poisonous.
Right.
And, so I don't know exactly what they didn't say what they were in here, but anyway, very, 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 very cool. So there you go. Potato, tomato.
It's a potato, tomato. There you go. All right. Well, thanks, John. Have a pleasant evening.
I will
go back to vacationing.
Yes, you turn back on your vacation brain and enjoy.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Talk to you later, Eric.
Bye.
Bye.